Oh, we're live.
Now, right now?
Now, right now.
So we're live. We're
Yep.
live currently.
We're live right now, right now.
Yay.
Right now, right now.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, everybody?
Into
Welcome
wonderful
to
world of
A.M.O.K. A.M.O.K, A.M.O.K.
We have a good show tonight. I'm just slightly prepared.
I'm never prepared. I can be the most prepared I want to be, and I'm still never prepared. Not prepared.
Well, I got all kinds of questions. But if you have questions about creepy crawly things and other things and stuff like that, especially if you're in Arkansas, I keep showing this book. I don't know if you see it there, Monstrous, Arkansas.
Yes.
And I never really got to talk to Robert before tonight, and I just found out how to pronounce his name, which is I was wrong on every other trying to pronounce it. You said it was Prevo.
Correct.
Robert Prevo.
Correct.
I'll never remember that. Tomorrow
okay.
I'll totally forget what it was. And I have to listen to the show again just so I know how to pronounce your name.
I may have to.
So, Robert, I need you to tell the world, and don't be scared. There's literally billions of people listening right now. So, a lot of shadow people. And
no pressure.
And the government. So tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what makes you tick.
Okay. Well, I'm 53 years old, married for about 35 years, and I've got 2 kids. I've got 5 grandkids, and ever since I can remember, I've been interested in either the paranormal or monsters or UFOs or whatever is out there, any kind of mystery.
So you like it all?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people kind of try to pigeonhole me into just the Bigfoot guy, but I've been into all of this for years and years.
Cool. See, I've never been much into the crypto thing. My wife is more the crypto person. She's crypto crazy about stuff. She loves Bigfoot. And loves her favorite is the Mothman. If you're to see, if I were to turn the camera that way, you'd see a lot of Mothman stuff. She just loved it. We got to Point Pleasant, and I've never seen her so giddy. She was flat out giddy when she found out that there was a store to just go buy a whole bunch of goodies. And every time I just like, here you go, a souvenir here and souvenir here, and she went nuts. So I think we spent the most money in one location outside of a jewelry store at that one store. But yeah, she always loves that stuff. She loves it all.
I've been there. I understand completely.
That was a cool place. I didn't know. I didn't know George had written about it.
It is a cool place. I've been.
Those of you that have been there, did you go rub his tush for good luck?
Rub his tush.
Yeah, there's like a statue, a bronze statue of Mothman.
Oh. No, I've been to the picture.
I have my picture of my face right by his butt.
Oh.
There's a shiny spot where everybody rubs his tush for good luck.
Wow.
I think everybody does.
We need to go tush rubbing.
Right?
So you
I haven't been there yet. So
Robert, you wrote this book, and I bought this book. I show you about it. And
you wrote this book.
I like it because it's not talking over people's heads,
right?
And I like how you write things about what's known about it, and then you also put in your little tidbit about it. But I think the coolest thing that I thought was it, you had oh, you can't see it. You're not gonna be able to see it there. Oh, it's such a great camera, and you can't see it. But you have a little place here for people to write their own notes,
right?
Or do their own drawings or their own maps on it.
Exactly. So
not only is it a reference manual, it's something that you can put your own references in it. I thought that was pretty handy. Exactly. So what gave you the idea for the book or to write the book?
Well, number one, I thought it would be nice to have some kind of basic compendium to where we had all of the different creatures, or as many of them as I could, that, occur in Arkansas without being extremely specific. When you get into the paranormal, you can get into the White Lady of this place, or you can get into the Phantom Light of that place. And I could have wrote that book for the next 20 years and never got done.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea was to give somebody a basic field guide manuals so that they could go out and they could, okay, well, I ran across this. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's not. Maybe I could write it down in my book, and this would be information I can share later.
Yeah, and it's not to be clear to everybody, it's not a in-depth
No.
On anything. It is like an hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that? Okay, and then since you, like in my case, there's one on here that I had never heard of, and actually I have heard of it, but I'd never really went down the path. And I'm probably gonna mispronounce it on page 191. The Mealuka.
Oh yeah, the Mealuka.
Mealuka, and your drawing that you have here is an illustration by Robert Prevo. And once again, you're not gonna be able to see it. You're not gonna be able to see it. There. Close.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. That looks almost exactly like what I saw, and the way I described the creature that I saw in McAllister, Oklahoma.
Oh.
Nice. And I was like, I was all excited. And then it said 1 to 2 feet in height. I went, the thing that I thought was clearly like 8 feet long. So maybe it's me look granddaddy. I don't know. It was big, but that's I was like pretty cool with that. So that's what's cool about the book. You look through that stuff and you find things, you're like, oh wow,
right,
that's cool. And then that gets you a chance to go looking down another path. So that's pretty cool.
Exactly. Now he's one of the, when you talk about the Mealuka, you're looking at what I classified as the others. And that, when you get into the illustrations with that, that's a lot of interpretive illustration. I mean, could they look completely different? Sure. Or some of the descriptions from one tribe to another, a little bit different? Sure. But, it gives you something, a baseline on what to work with.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question?
No.
Fine. Okay, I'll say it quickly. I did not see the book yet, but the illustrations in there, are they yours or somebody else's drawings that you acquired from wherever?
They are both mine, and I have a friend who did about half of the illustrations, Mr. Dale Kitty, and he does his artwork just a little bit different than me.
It's not working.
I'm more of a rough sketch artist with a little bit of a background in comic book art, and he does.
He's wanting to focus on your face.
Okay, great. I was just curious because I barely see that, but it looked like somebody drew that one.
That was me.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
By Robert Prevo.
I actually saw it on the screen.
So you have a background in comic book art too?
Well, a little bit. I mean, nothing professional, but I mean, it was ever since I was a kid, I was into art, and comic book art was always my favorite. So I was always drawing superheroes and everything else. So that kind of gave me a little bit of an edge heading in toward monsters and stuff. So
cool.
See, I draw a sick person and people go, what is that? They can't even tell when I'm doing stick person. I'm a terrible artist. But hey, it's just one of those things. No, I thought it was a really good book. It's a quick read. I read through it fairly quickly. Because, like I said, it's not an in-depth on anything.
No.
But it did talk about a lot of stuff that I just never even heard of, which was kind of neat. But I'm not an outdoorsy guy. I'm an indoorsy guy. And so I try to stay away from anything that's going to eat me. I'm a very big fan of not being eaten. And a lot of these things, I'm just assuming will eat you.
I would assume, yes.
Cryptids do like to stay warm indoors, Adrian.
I do like to stay warm indoors, and especially when it's white and nasty outside. I mean, do you think Bigfoot's cold? I mean, he's got a lot of fur.
But they say
I would be freezing right now.
Yeah.
Even with fur.
You'd think you'd go find a campsite, hang around a fire somewhere, or maybe you knock on a trailer somewhere. Hello, can I come in and sit down? Or if he's got, I'm sure he's got a language, but I don't think it's English.
Valid question. I wonder where they hunker down in weather like this.
It's often thought that they hide in caves.
Yeah,
And caves.
Would be my thought, because it would be more temperature regulated.
Right.
Unless they
Another
can
realm.
pass through to a different place.
Dimension.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
she'd gone interdimensional on us. The on the thing on the Black Panther you got in here. This one is by Dale Chitty.
Yes.
For you. That looks like a monkey there, all blurred out. There again now.
Oh, nice.
I was in on a read on this because right after I started the team back in 2006, there was a talk over here on Eagle Crest golf course about a spirit panther, and they said it was on the golf course, and people seen it because they're like, "Oh my God, big black panther," and then it wasn't there. So they're supposed to be protectors, and I thought that was kind of cool. But this is just talking panthers themselves, actual panthers.
Yeah,
actual panthers will eat you.
yeah.
Speaking of actual panthers and eating you, did you see that? Did you see that news with the mountain lion?
No.
No.
I saw that. Showed up on
She
his
was
trail cam
talking,
the
of
other
course, she'd given a weather report or something
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
I did
She's out
see that.
there, and the lights were in her eyes, so she couldn't see it. And she was like, "That's a dog." No, ma'am.
Oh,
not
I
a
didn't see
dog.
that one.
If she would have noticed that it was a mountain lion, she would have probably went eek and probably got ate on camera. Another reason why I don't want to go outside.
What's funny about the subject of the Black Panther, North American Black Panther, years ago there used to be a website called cryptozoology.com, and it's now defunct. It's not there anymore. But I used to be part of the admin team on there, and that's before cryptozoology, paranormal got to be all big and everything. And I used to write a lot of articles on there on the different creatures, and I was doing investigations into sightings of black panthers in Arkansas. And I started a website at that time that was cryptidcats.com. And we, took a look at a lot of them, not just in Arkansas, but all over the world.
Dude, that's crazy.
Wow.
I don't, but they exactly though they are all over the world. These stories are all over the place, and a lot of these things that are mentioned here in your book isn't just specific to Arkansas. There are some that are specific to Arkansas, but I like how you didn't just stick with cryptids. You actually went into my neck of the woods, which is ghosts and goblins and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of neat. Although I did totally disagree with one portion of it, but beyond that,
that's okay. You're allowed to.
You can't please everybody.
I'm lucky if I can please anybody.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, it's all right, okay, that's okay. And then I got into the shadow people. I was like, no, and then I went, oh no, okay, that's okay.
I actually had a run-in with the Hat Man years ago. So
I hear a lot of people talk about Hat Man, but I've seen several shadow people, but never, I guess, what they considered the Hat Man. But I've seen a lot of them that are wearing hats, but nothing like what I haven't encountered with other people, because there's somebody I know named Jeff Leeper, and he wrote about the Hat Man, and he talks about it, and he's some kind of evil, nasty creature or something like that. But I've never come across that. Every shadow person I ever come across is just another way of seeing a ghost. Right. I think it had to do with more about the quality of light at that time.
Yeah.
Wow, I think this is something that my friend actually, because she gets night terrors, and she was talking about seeing a man at the foot of her bed with a hat.
Is that what she did?
And
very common. I'm like, oh, okay, but I never even looked up Hat Man.
Hat Man.
It's one of the more common tales.
Well, Mary Ellen Guiley wrote a thing on that, and she wrote a thing on Hat Man. And then she went down this thing, and everybody, they were tall hats, and they all had weapons and stuff like that. And I've seen all kinds of shadow people, and I've never seen any of that. But every time she talked about shadow people, they're always just some kind of like nefarious creature. And I've never encountered that. And I've encountered a lot of stuff, but no.
The one that I ran into, I guess that was back in 87, 88. And that was before I ever knew that there was shadow people and, a hat man or anything like that. And the only thing I could equate it to was like the silhouette of the Quaker Oats man.
Yeah, I agree.
I had that this morning.
Beware.
No, that's pretty beware. So when you write this book, and you're writing about all this stuff, and you have your Facebook page, Monstrous Arkansas, what is your favorite creature?
What's my favorite creature?
Yeah,
that's a good question. It probably changes as we go along. I mean, I've done well. We're currently doing investigations on the Sasquatch active area. I think Dogman is extremely interesting. It's very puzzling. When you get into folklore, I think the Snoffus is one of the most interesting ones in the Ozarks. Everybody looks confused.
I don't know that one.
It is a very large buck, a deer, male deer, with huge antlers, and on those antlers are blooming dogwood blooms, and the deer itself is white, and it's almost like a forest spirit, benevolent type being that roams through the Ozark Mountains. They say the mist that rises in the morning is because of the breath of the Snoffus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And what was that called again?
A Snoffus. Snawfus.
Exactly.
I'm looking it up.
I'm looking it up.
Okay.
Oh.
I've heard of it. I've seen some photos of that kind of a deer.
And paintings.
Yeah, with the dogwood flowers on the antlers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
What's interesting about the Snoffus is it's kind of the opposite side of the coin of the creature that's like the Ozark Howler. They're kind of one's evil and one's good, and so. But the Ozark Howler can be kind of a touchy subject because there was a lot of hoaxing behind that whole thing. Yeah. But it's still interesting. It's still part of lore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, the Ozark Howler looks like a demon.
Yeah.
Well, don't they all? I mean,
or a bear.
Like, what is that?
Yeah. I would say that if you tried to apply the evidence of anything that was credible as far as evidence with the Ozark Howler, I would say it is probably either linked to Bigfoot or it's related to Dogman. I don't think it's its own individual thing. Excuse
me. I did notice that there was not a bunch as far as the Native American entities in this book. Mm-hmm. That I mean, some of them are, but I was surprised it didn't have like the deer woman or little people or things like that. I was
the Pukwudgies and
yeah, but I mean, I know that all over the place, but that's one of the things when I first started investigating. I'd never heard of these things,
right?
And then when I actually got out there and started doing specific locations, they're like, be careful about this and be careful about that.
Right.
And so I was like, did you make it a conscious effort or not a conscious effort? Was it a conscious decision not to put those in, or you just make it another book?
Especially with the Pukwudgie. The Pukwudgie has a lot that's in common. First of all, it's primarily up more northeastern of us, is where like Massachusetts area and that area Pukwudgie really is supposed to abide. We have similar things. So I think there's one that I have in there that when you look at creatures that are similar, I think I have Pukwudgie listed in there. When you get into the deer woman definitely, is something that could have been in there. And it's attached to many other Native American beings. I mean, again, like I said, I could have wrote this for the next 20 years.
Oh yeah, volume 1, volume 2,
But the idea is, I'm going to give you the basics. You're going to look at this and you're going to go, oh, okay, this is really interesting. Hey, I just came across this, which isn't in the book. And write that out,
Yeah.
I want people to get involved. I don't want people just to sit and just read the book. I want you to read the book. Yeah, I want everybody to buy it, of course. But I don't want you just to read the book. I want it to drive you to do more investigation, go deeper than I went. Look for the other creatures. Get out there with us. Help us find the answer to what's going on with all these things.
So did your research take you out into the field a lot?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you've done a lot of investigating over the years.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you said you're getting ready to do a Sasquatch hunt.
I'm trying to figure out who to answer.
That's right. Go ahead. Answer Ken. He's older and wiser.
Okay.
Did you encounter some of these beings, these creatures?
Through my life, I have definitely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, different ones, and a lot of it was more paranormal. Like I said, I grew up with thinking that every house we moved in was haunted, and then I started to realize it was me. I'm just sensitive to those things, even when they're just passing through or whatever.
Gotcha.
I think I attract the things anyway.
Yeah, kind of a ghost magnet kind of thing.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. You were talking about Hat Man a few minutes ago, and I have captured a photo of a Hat Man.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's really kind of cool at the Lemp Mansion here in St. Louis area.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and somebody else captured almost the exact same photo about, I want to say 5 or 6 years before I caught it, and that was on the upstairs 3rd floor. I caught it on the 2nd floor.
Nice.
It's really kind of cool. Still can't figure out what it is.
That's the big question.
Exactly.
That's the big question.
It's a hat, yeah, and it looks just like the Wikipedia version of the photo of a Hat Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were saying, the Quaker Oat. Well, didn't quite have the straight up, but yeah, that little curvature, like a fedora.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool.
So take us through a typical Sasquatch investigation. What do you do?
Well, that's kind of funny because we're on the 2nd stage of our Sasquatch investigation that we're doing. Usually we have a preliminary where, somebody will report some activity or something. We don't necessarily want to go in blind, just, this looks like a good spot for Bigfoot. Let's go look around. So we wait until somebody tells us about something. The one that we're doing right now, there was a hunting camp where there was 4 hunters, and the activity was pretty intense as far as the calls, the yells. They were very close. And so we did our preliminary investigation where we went out and we set up cameras, looked for tracks, look for any other evidence, stick structures, tree structures, any kind of destruction, whatever there might be, yells, things like that. So we did that, set up everything, all the equipment, and did an overnighter. And sure enough, the next morning there was one yell. I didn't hear it. My partner out there, he heard it. And then when we went out and onto the front porch, we heard the classic 600-pound hoot owl, a couple of 100 yards off to our side, and instead of the typical who, we're hearing who. I'm like, that is not an owl. But we did recover, some photographs, some tracks, handprints. Definitely.
So do you forecast when you come across a print?
If we can come across one that's worth casting, you could, if you spend enough time out in the woods, you can find tracks, but you're not necessarily going to be able to cast them. Not every track is worth casting. But if we could find one that was, definitely worth casting, where we could get enough detail and make a substantial track, yeah, we will.
And that when you were out there investigating, I've heard that a lot of activity is discovered around bodies of water,
Yep.
river, creeks, whatever. Was it in your area?
Yes.
Was that kind
As
of
a matter of fact,
typical location?
yeah, his without giving away too many details of the area, the active spot where this thing is using it as a highway is a dry creek bed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It may not be dry right now, but it's a dry creek bed.
Gotcha. Okay. Very
So,
cool.
so have you ever been investigating going from looking at one thing and then totally having to change what you do because what you've encountered is different than what you're expecting?
Yes, but I learned to go in with no expectations. You know, I come from a background of cryptozoology. So cryptozoology is very flesh and blood. They're very adamant about that. Everything is a real animal. We're looking for animals. That's what they're, you know, it's biology and zoology based. The problem with that is whenever you get into active Sasquatch areas, you don't only have that. Sometimes you have orbs that are showing up. Sometimes you have poltergeist type activity. You have UFOs that will pop up. So, I mean, you know, it's, you know, more along the lines of what John Keel was doing, where you have a lot of everything going on. We're looking at the big picture, you know, what is really going on there. And why bind yourself to one thing? Why say it's got to be this? I'm not going to pay any attention if it's not. You know, what kind of evidence are you throwing out the window if you're like, well, it had to be this?
That's one of the things I really liked seeing is the fact that, you know, there used to be the three camps. There used to be cryptids, UFOs, you know, and ghosts, and they didn't intermingle. And now they're starting to, and a lot of the things that maybe one camp calls a specific thing, another camp has the same situation. But now that they've started to talk, we're finding out that they are the same thing. They're just being called by different names.
Then you will get a kick out of my next book, the one I'm working on.
Really?
Yes.
Cool.
It's called Animology, and it's the study of anomalies. It simply takes away the paranormal, takes away the cryptid, takes away the extraterrestrial, and you're looking specifically at the evidence for what it is.
Very cool.
Okay.
So when's this going to be out?
Hopefully by December of this year.
Oh, terrific.
I hope. If not, I mean, I've given myself 2 years to write it because it is going to be much more in depth. It is. It goes through what equipment you're going to use, how you look at evidence, different types of evidence, how you use photography, how you use casting tracks, EVPs and EMF meters, everything. So, I mean, when I'm out doing Bigfoot research, I'm carrying a recorder because I'm looking for EVPs. I'm carrying an EMF meter because I'm looking for electromagnetic frequency. I want everything. There is no evidence that is too small. Details matter.
Right. That's very cool.
So in your
the reason why I asked my question earlier is like, okay, you're hunting and you think you're going after Bigfoot and you come across a big dog track instead. So you hunt for dogman the same way you hunt for Bigfoot?
Sure. Why not?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. Because I'd never really paid attention until we started the show because crypto has never been my thing. Been my thing. And I'd never even really heard of Dogman. And the Dogman to me sounds like more like a werewolf type thing. So I don't know if he's an actual creature or if he's a shift changer or what. I don't know.
I don't
Whereas Bigfoot, I always considered if he was a thing, an actual flesh and blood creature.
Right.
And so I don't know.
But if you get into
there's been stories of werewolves way back, so they got to be coming from something, right?
Right.
Which are more than likely dogmen.
If you get into Native American lore about Bigfoot is a shapeshifter. Because we've seen trackways that'll go on for miles and then all of a sudden in the middle of the field just stop.
Well, that comes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Which
she got
comes to
excited
my
there for a
idea. Well, no, which comes to my idea of like camouflage. I mean, you've got lizards that can camouflage. You have octopi that can camouflage. You have other creatures, fish that can. So if they can do it,
exactly. Why put limitations on it? We don't know. We don't even know what we're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. Why can we give it parameters if we don't know what it is or anything about it, really?
Karen,
well, you have
Karen said Dogman is Bigfoot's pet.
You have so many people out there who swear up and down that they're, the absolute authority on Bigfoot or Dogman or whatever.
How can you be an authority on something you can't prove?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like people saying there's expert in the paranormal.
All these experts in the field just crack me up.
Yeah, we're professional paranormalists. Yeah.
I think we're all students, and hopefully we're all aimed towards the same target. And maybe we'll go about it different ways, but I think it's all valuable.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I went on a Sasquatch investigation about a year ago, I guess, not quite a year ago. And I was actually trying to my whole goal was to try to communicate with them using my paranormal equipment. For example, my spirit box. Cool. I wanted them to talk to me somehow, some way. All I got was this screech, and it sucked out the battery in the life of my battery. But twice, within like about 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, well, this kind of sucks. But then, I'm looking over about 10 feet away, and I see this giant shadow standing next to a tree, and the thing moves and hides behind a tree, and it's gone. I'm like, okay, we've been watched.
Yeah, I was watching you going, what is this fool doing?
Like, what's this idiot doing? I can't talk that way, Well, what's this? Beep.
But you see, obviously there's a paranormal aspect to that, because you were talking about you had the spirit box and twice the battery got sucked dry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't happen with Bigfoot if it's a big flesh and blood ape running around the woods. Yeah.
Right.
That's correct. Exactly. And that's where we were. We were in the middle of the woods. So, so it kind of, am I hearing you correctly? Do you think that they're a combination, maybe a real creature, but there's interdimensional capabilities of it? So it's not really just an interdimensional, because it gives you footprints. We find I shouldn't say give. We find footprints. We find physical evidence. So to me, it's like there's some physicality of it, but maybe it has special powers where it can, or maybe it has a device that it can just, run through walls or run through, space, or run across the field and poof, it's gone.
As far as I know, this thing could turn into a boxer and land on somebody's front porch. I mean, I don't know.
Good point.
It could turn into the orbs that we see.
It could turn into an owl and fly off. It could turn into a wolf and go over the hill. I don't know. I think, once we start, first of all, we as scientific people, we know we do not understand reality. Okay. We all, for a long time, you were told by your mom and your dad and your grandma and your grandpa, well, that can't exist. Monsters aren't there. That, this doesn't happen. Well, the truth is, the farther we get into science and the more we get into, deeper physics and, different stuff like that, like we're trying to understand, we realize we don't understand reality. The only part of reality that we understand is the part that our senses will let us comprehend. And maybe we just don't have the ability to sense the other parts of reality that are continuously existing at this point.
Which makes more sense than anything.
Which would also explain why different people see and experience different things. And
exactly.
It's the same stimulus.
Exactly. I think we all have the gift. It's just a matter of whether you use it or not. That's like, I was gifted an artistic ability, but if I don't use it, I might as well just draw stick figures, and those would probably look horrible. But the more I practice, the more I use it, the better it gets. The same thing happens with other gifts, like what you're talking about.
Sure. Okay.
I think they're all demons, and it's just tools the devil uses to try to get us away from God.
Could be.
Okay.
Okay. Next subject. No, no.
That's actually.
But Adrian, it is a possibility. You could be. You could be absolutely correct.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Tina, I think the very top of her bucket list is to go to Scotland and look for the Loch Ness Monster. That is, I think that is the very top of her list. One of these days,
Awesome.
we was gonna go there, and then the world went crazy, and now I'm not necessarily afraid, but I don't even want to go down the street.
Yeah.
So, but have you got a chance to go outside the United States to go look for anything?
No, I haven't. Back when I was running Cryptid Cats, I had a gentleman from the, I think it was India Tea Corporation, got a hold of me. And they were having some issues with a strange, large cat in India. And they were actually asking me at that time to go to India and find and identify this cat. But I was able to do it without even leaving the States. So.
Could you imagine India too? That'd be wild. That's everybody who's gone there that I know has said it's been a life-altering experience. So what's the top of your bucket list then? Like Tina went to go see Nessie. She could go anywhere. Where would that be?
I don't know.
I fried his brain.
Yeah, well, that's not hard to do. There's only 2 brain cells and they're fighting for dominance. I don't know that
I say Grumpy Poo said I went looking for Loch Ness Monster every year, not found him, her yet.
Yeah, Grumpy Poo is in Scotland, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Good.
You know, it used to be that.
It used to be what?
It used to be that if you want to go look for Bigfoot, everybody thought you had to go out to the Pacific Northwest, and you know, that was your bucket list. You were going to go. Turns out they're everywhere. So just basically go out in your backyard and start looking for evidence.
Well, they did say a long time ago that the giant squid didn't exist.
Right.
I just saw a thing on a map of something. I forget where it was. I don't know if it was Wikipedia or Google or probably Facebook was my luck. But this showed a map of where Sasquatch had been found in the United States. And from what I could see, the only places that they weren't found, for the most part, was in the desert area. And I'm like,
desert?
Well,
right.
just on the map, there's a big section towards the middle and towards the west that there's nothing hardly there. So it's, for me, it's like, you know, let's say
like Area 51.
Well, eastern Colorado, that's desert.
Yeah.
Part of Utah, you know, a lot of that's desert, New Mexico, Arizona, but there's this center area that, you know, the little strips of it that there's nothing there. Or no sightings have been noted. So I'm like, that was pretty interesting.
That's more than likely what it is. Just no sightings have been noted.
That's what I was going to say. It's probably that there's
fewer people too.
Human presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say fewer
Do
people.
they have desert Bigfoot? Bigfoots?
Navajo, they have
well, you can't see them. They're all dusty in that part, you know.
Yeah.
They would just look like sand, you know.
Sand people.
Exactly. Interesting. So nothing on the bucket list, huh?
Not that I can think of. I mean,
do you have a particular, for lack of a better word, creature that you would be really excited to witness if you haven't done so yet? Any particular one?
Right now would probably be Dogman. That's one I would like to see. Maybe not up close, but definitely like.
Yeah.
But within camera distance, there you go.
Exactly.
Well, as I say, when I told you about that creature that I saw that the Tamialuka looked like, people ask me, "Have you gone looking for it?" I went, "No way! I don't." Are you kidding me?
He doesn't want to get eaten.
That scared me deep into my soul.
You know, just because they look different don't mean they're evil.
Yeah,
Well,
we had reports of a
when
dog
I
man
saw it,
just
my mind went straight to
recently.
demon. So yeah.
Hmm.
And that's why I don't go out.
That
Yeah,
poor
I
creature,
talk
it
about
was probably out there going, I want you to pet my head, please.
There's a couple in my area that had reports of a dog man not just a few months ago. And we have a friend named Brian Terrell with Red Dirt Cryptids out of Enid, Oklahoma.
Terrell.
Yeah, not Terrell, it's Terrell. And he came up and interviewed them and got their information. And I think that may be on his YouTube channel
Oh,
about that. And that was not
cool.
very long ago.
Yeah, in Missouri, I've seen one that we're kind of thinking it looked like either a wampus cat or a rake, some
Mhm.
combination like that. And then what was the other one I saw? Actually, when I went to Border Town, the conference last year, on the way out there in Oklahoma, I saw a big cat run across the highway. It was too far away for me to get, any photos of it. Plus, I was using my camera as my map. But by the time I even got up there, it had already been gone and running through the farm fields and such. But I thought that was really kind of cool. But it wasn't everybody's going, oh, it's probably a cow. I said, cows don't move that fast. They're not long and skinny, and they're not low to the ground. I'm like, come on. Yeah, but I mean, it was solid black. So
Look, I know a cow. I've seen a cow before. That was not a cow.
I know that
Yeah.
one of our friends from overseas, Polar Knights, was saying they don't think creatures are monsters if they've been around for a reason. Evolution works for a reason. If you see a creature as a monster, you have a problem. From their perspective, we are the monsters. We shoot first. If I did see a Bigfoot, I would leave it at that and never tell anybody. I can't be a monster myself by revealing them.
well, my friend, I only shoot with a camera.
Mhm.
Same here.
Hopefully they heard that.
Unless, like I've said before, I think humans are way more scary.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
I agree.
Well, see,
Well,
it'd be
that's-
okay if you could bring them home like Harry and the Hendersons. But
That's true.
I have a feeling he'd just eat me.
Well, that's like I've always said whenever we're out in the forest. If you see a wolf at a distance, you can identify it as a wolf, and you typically know the behavior of a wolf. If you see a bear at a distance, you can identify it as a bear, and you know the bear's attitude.
And
If you
there's
see
more
a
than
human-
one, and you're in trouble.
If you see a human, you don't know what you're dealing with.
Exactly.
The scariest thing to run into in the middle of nowhere is a human you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I agree.
Because you never know. They're going to be
I
nice.
try to avoid them at all costs.
Maybe that's what Bigfoot's thinking too. If they see us off in the distance, they know enough to, well, obviously they do know enough to stay
Yeah.
away from us.
Right.
I mean, they have a language, so they can communicate with each other for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they've been shot at so many times, with firearms,
Mhm.
that it scared the hell out of me.
And they could
Yeah.
probably smell us with
I'd
our
hide,
Axe
too.
body spray like 10 miles away. So
Oh yeah.
Hey, Axe
Yeah,
body
I-
spray could smell good, but him it's one.
You were talking about human behavior in Bigfoot. That's like I get so tickled, not in a good way. You'll see these people, they'll go out in the woods and, well, we think there's a Bigfoot in the area, so we're gonna yell or we're gonna beat on a tree. I'm like, you have no idea what you're saying,
yeah.
what you're communicating. They could be mating season and you're about to be dead sorry.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, you just called them a name.
Yeah, too true.
So you're saying go out there with your ghost box.
Yes.
Hey, I'm gonna try again.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep trying.
I'm gonna stay inside.
What is the worst that can happen? You will gather evidence for later on. It may seem like it's nothing, but it might be some of the most important evidence we ever gather.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I got to go Bigfoot hunting once with a group of friends, and I was gonna go. I fully planned on going, but I have a job that I always like to change my schedule at that time, so I ended up having to work. I was like, okay, well, no problem. So then they showed, this is back in the MySpace days, and they're like, and they got pictures of them as they're getting ready to go out, and everybody's like armed to the teeth. And I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm not going, because not only would I get a tick bite, but I'd probably get shot by one of them.
Yeah.
It did sound like a good time. And Robert Quinn keeps telling me he's going to come out there, but he knows I'm terrified of him out there, and I'm going to get eaten. And some of the stories he told a story at the expo. I've heard it before, but he's talking about he was sleeping in his truck, and then something basically attacked his truck and put the fear of God into him. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm not out there. I mean, no, I'll be here.
Yeah.
Hey, Robert, what was one of the craziest experiences you've had in your field research, I'll say? Anything?
Probably the craziest wasn't actually in field research. It was something that happened at one time in the early 90s. We lived up in Harrison, Arkansas, and we lived kind of on the side of a hill, lived in a trailer. The guy that owned the land, he's passed away now, he had sheep out there and had rabbits and some other stuff like that. And we had a few dogs that, would let us know when anybody came around. So we were sitting in the trailer one night, and there was this loud commotion at the back door of the trailer. I mean, just something beating the hell out of it. It sounded like, a gorilla just beating the hell out of that door. So I get up and I go grab something, and I get over to the door, and it's still doing it. And I'm like, as soon as this thing stops, I'm throwing open this door, and I'm going to identify at very least, or scare the snot out of myself about whatever this thing is. So it stops. I throw open the door. There's nothing there except for our dogs. Our dogs are in this and we had a few of them at the time, in this semicircle out in the yard and looking underneath the trailer, because there was no underpinning on the trailer at that spot. So I thought, okay, well, you guys suck, first of all.
Yeah.
You're not saving me at all. I'm in the position where I'm going to have to save you. So they're looking under the trailer. So I kind of squat down, and I can hear this faint sound, almost like a baby crying. And I thought, I have seen this movie. This is the one where I stick my head down there to get a better look, and I lose my head. So like every 5-year-old kid trying to get in bed so the monster doesn't get them from under the bed, I leap out into the yard where the dogs are. And I'm with the dogs, looking as dumb as they are now, looking under the trailer, trying to figure out where this thing is. And there was kind of a security light, and I could see that there was something under there, but I couldn't tell what it was. And I was just like, okay, dogs, go on, go do something else. And then as I went up the steps, I said, quit beating on the damn door, and I'll leave you alone. And I closed the door and went on. There was nothing else to do. I didn't have a flashlight. I didn't have, I didn't know what it was, and that very well could have been a dog man, because I don't think it was a Sasquatch would have fit under my trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of freaky. I think that would bother me for some time.
I mean, now I have been paced out in the woods in the daytime, hearing something not 10, 20 feet away from me, walking beside me, and in through the leaves, and you can't see anything. You stop, it stops. You go, it goes. So that very well could have been something paranormal right there. Like I said, my entire life has got all kinds of weird stuff with it.
And like you said in the book, there's all kinds of creatures out there, so no telling what it could have been. Yeah, so,
could be anything.
I'm not.
What areas have you investigated? I know you've written about Arkansas. Have you investigated surrounding areas or a lot of the U.S. or?
Primarily, we're sticking with Arkansas and Missouri right now, because I'm over in northeast Arkansas, so I'm doing more of the Pocahontas area, and then I'm getting up into Doniphan, Missouri, and areas like that. Matter of fact, our Bigfoot investigation is taking place in Missouri.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I have heard there's a lot of activity, especially in the Ozark region.
Yes.
Which is you're not very far from that, and you're also pretty close to the White River down there. what we call Arcadia Valley, which is Highway 67 that goes to Pocahontas.
Right.
I've been down that road all the way down to Perryville.
There's a lot of nothing out there, though, right?
Yes.
Cotton fields once you get to Louisiana and South Arkansas. South Arkansas. Oh yeah, I've driven that route all the way down.
Right.
So,
Me too.
But I'm kind of one of those. If you tell me there's something going on, it's active, there's evidence, there's a lot going on. I'm on my way. Let's do this.
I got a
So
question.
you're going to be going down to the Falk Monster Fest?
I went last year. I wasn't extremely impressed, but it is what
I was supposed to go last year. We would have met, but something came up. I was excited. I'm going to go this year, but no, I gotta go to Branson on that weekend because I said yes to one of those. Hey, would you like to come listen to a 2-hour talk?
Not a ton fair.
Yeah. So,
are you going?
No, I'm not gonna do it because I found out how much the final price is of all that stuff. So forget that. I just say no.
Hey, Robert, are you going to go to the Piedmont UFO conference this year?
When is that?
Know what I'm talking about?
No.
I'm trying to find it here. We talked about it last week. Oh, that's looks like April 6th through the 8th.
That sounds like a good idea. I may have to.
And it's not very far from you. About what,
right.
2-3 hours? Well, probably about 3 hours.
Oh yeah, we do. We take off for Springfield just for the heck of it. So yeah.
There you go. Okay. So yeah, the Piedmont UFO Fest, that's coming up again. Last year was the 50th anniversary of the sighting. The UFO sightings back in the 70s. Huge shindig down there.
Right.
So I just thought I would just check that out with you.
Yeah. I may have to make arrangements to go do that.
Oh yeah, y'all don't forget about the High Nation Paragold event happening in July too, y'all.
That's up there, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's really pretty close to Robert, isn't it?
It's
the weekend of July 12th.
It's in Paragold, so yeah. So Robert, do you have anything that you're going to be that you have coming up specifically?
I am going to be working with the ladies over at Spirit Knows Metaphysical Store. I'm selling my books through there and off of Amazon. So I'm going to be working with them and doing a book signing, and I'll try and post it on our site, and I'll let you know definitely when it's going to be, so you can post it, and that way I can meet some people and sign some books. And we got that going on. We've got our investigations going on. We've got a couple of paranormal investigations in the area that are going to be happening just as soon as I can get everything lined out and we can get past the silly weather. And then of course I'm working on the next book, which hopefully will be out by December of this year. If not, it'll come out eventually. So
well, we're looking forward to that. And for everybody, once again, I'm going to put the book up there. If it'll come in the focus, there it is. Monstrous, Arkansas. Fantastic little book. Like I said, just tidbits to really get you really interested in things. And I like the layout. Actually, a really cool book. So I know I got one person said they need that book. A friend of mine, so I think she ordered it. I got mine off of Amazon. I'd much rather bought it straight from you so you could sign it to my dearest Adrian. But
well, when I get a chance, I will.
If we ever meet, I'll be like, "Can you sign this book for me?" And,
be like Ace Ventura and have all the pimples and stuff on your face.
But really, for all you billions of people, if half of you billions of people were to buy this, it'd make Robert's day. Like I said, it's well worth it, even if you're not in Arkansas, because like I said, a lot of these creatures are known to be in other states as well. So it's not just strictly Arkansas.
Oh yeah.
I really can't say too much about it. I thought it was pretty cool. As far as I love the illustration, because that helps you get it in your head, because when you're reading about things. But I do specifically like the fact that you can make it your own book, and then in those little notes that you have in the back, and this what you've seen eyewitness stuff to give you an idea of how to basically write your own book.
Right.
And I thought
right.
I really thought that was really good. That's really cool.
Well, I
And
appreciate it.
and it's not boring. And a lot of people will write things and it just puts you to sleep. And I didn't fall asleep when I read that, so it's just great.
Well, good.
You mentioned some paranormal events that you're going to be involved with. Are they public events or are they private ones that you're just part of?
They're paranormal. I can't even talk anymore. Paranormal investigations that are going to be happening in the area. We've got one apartment complex that is extremely active right now, and we're wanting to get in there and collect what evidence we can. There's been 2 or 3 others that have been brought to my attention, so we're lining them up in the calendar. It depends on how active this Bigfoot investigation continues to be.
Gotcha. So those are private events for you and your team,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
right now.
I didn't know if they were public or not. Okay.
Now, do you have a paranormal team name?
I don't specifically. I mean, how do I put this? I like working with other individuals and other independent investigators. I want to see how the other people do stuff so that I can either incorporate it or go, no, that really doesn't work. Or, that's kind of goofy or whatever. But I'm an open book as far as that goes. It's kind of like, okay, we're going to do an investigation over here at site A. I'm going to try and find people from that area, and let's work together and see what kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
So you come as a student.
Do what?
You come as a student.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm always a student.
I like it.
I'm always a student. Yeah, if I ever sit there and say that I'm an expert on anything, that I'm full of it, because I'm not.
Well, you didn't sound like an expert when you were Prevo, but now you're Prevo.
That's the only thing I know how to do.
Well, we are at our hour, and I'm so glad you came on the show.
Yeah.
I'm glad this worked out. This is fantastic. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed your book.
I did too.
And we'll have you back on when you have your book out there again.
Okay.
That'd be great to.
I enjoyed it.
It's a launch, maybe. And then we'll get you. We might have you back again anyway, just because I might read another thing and you wait a minute. Anyhow, I don't know.
Exactly.
I just put a link to your book on our Facebook page too, in our group. So
thank you.
Hopefully we'll generate you some
if we get at least 500 million people to buy your book, you should be able to, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how much money to make out of a book, but maybe you'll be able to buy.
Maybe I can do some better investigations.
That's right. That's
There
right.
you go.
All right, everybody. We got next week. We have the Mo people.
The Mo people.
It's Mo's turn.
It's Mo's turn.
Mo's turn. Guess who?
Now, what's Mo talking about?
Guess who Mo is? I think that's me.
That's you.
Hang on a second here. I'm trying to get my notes. I'm gonna be.
You got 30 seconds.
Oh my God! Okay. Anyway,
4, 3.
No pressure.
I have a good friend by the name of Missy Nichols, and she has agreed to come on the show with us next week. And I believe she is going to. Holy cow! Hold on a minute.
Wow.
Did you guys hear all
Straight
that?
to India.
Mm.
Whoa,
Missy?
that was loud. Yeah, Missy Nichols, and she is a lot of different things. Psychic, she's a healer, she's a medium, Reiki provider, chakra balancer.
So she's a woo-woo person.
Photographer. She's really into photography now. She's kind of backed off on some stuff, but she's now doing a lot more of photography, and it's going to be pretty interesting. She's a good friend of mine. I've known her for years. She and I have investigated some pretty interesting sites over the past 6, 7, 8 years or whatever. We haven't done anything for about 2 or 3, but we have some pretty interesting stories that we can tell about some of the places we've been, some private investigations.
Cool.
So I think it's going
Right
to
on.
be kind of interesting.
That'd be good. So join us next week, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock,
Tuesday.
same
Right.
time,
See you there.
same channel.
Robert, it was
You're out,
great
Robert.
to meet you, and
Same
I'm
amok
looking
time.
forward
Bye,
to your
everybody.
next book too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Robert, hang on a second, Robert.
Oh my gosh, everybody just started talking at once there near the end. I have no idea if anybody caught anything, but we're done. We're clear. Yes.